What if the secrets to building wealth weren't some complex new thing? No secret algorithms, no market timing tricks. What if they were actually 6,000 years old? And what if they came from the single wealthiest city of the ancient world, Babylon? Today, we're diving into some truly timeless financial wisdom, born right in the cradle of civilization.
And this is really the core promise of the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. The whole idea is just shockingly simple. Getting wealthy isn't about luck. It's about understanding a few basic, timeless rules. They're described as being just as universal and unchanging as the law of gravity.
So, what are they? What are these ancient secrets? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. We're going to dig into the stories from ancient Babylon to uncover 7 simple cures for an empty wallet that are just as powerful today as they were thousands of years ago.
To get to the solution, you first have to really understand the problem. And the book kicks things off with a character that I think a lot of us can still relate to even today.
So, meet Dabasir. This guy is an expert at what he does. He's a master craftsman, he's dedicated, he works from sunrise to sunset. But he looks around at his life and he's just filled with this deep frustration. He earns good money, but at the end of the day, there's just nothing left. Does that sound at all familiar?
And here's what's so interesting. The realization he has with his friend, Kobe the musician. They are masters at their crafts, right? Building chariots, playing music, but they've never actually studied the craft of building wealth. They just kind of assumed that working hard was enough and that prosperity would eventually just find them.
This is where everything changes. Instead of just wishing for better luck, they decide to actively go out and get the knowledge they're missing. And they set their sights on Arkad, a man who literally started with nothing and became a legend of wealth in their city.
So, in this story, the king of Babylon himself tasks Arkad with teaching his wisdom to everyone. And Arkad starts with the one single most important financial habit, the foundation that everything else is built on.
It sounds so simple, right? Almost obvious. Start thy purse to fattening. Okay, great. But what does that actually mean? How do you fatten a purse that's always empty when it feels like every single coin you earn is already spoken for?
And here it is, the first, powerfully simple rule. For every 10 coins that come into your hands, you only spend 9. That last coin, that 10%, is yours. And it's not yours to spend later. It's yours to keep. It's a payment to your future self. And it's yours before anyone else, the landlord, the baker, anyone gets a single piece.
Just think about that for a second. It's a total flip of how most of us operate. We're taught to pay all our bills first and then see what's left over for us. Arkad's lesson says, no way. You have to be the very first person you pay. And that simple act, that one decision to prioritize your own wealth, is the tiny seed from which everything else can grow.
All right, so saving that first 10% is absolutely the crucial first step. But having a fattening purse is only the beginning. Next, Arkad explains how to protect that growing treasure and, even more importantly, how to put it to work for you.
The second cure is all about budgeting. Arkad points out a simple truth. What we call necessary expenses, well, they will always grow to meet our income unless we actively fight back. It's about drawing a hard line between needs and wants. Then the third cure, this is where the real magic starts to happen. Making your saved money work.
I just love this metaphor. Don't let your gold sit around being lazy. Your savings have to become your employees, your golden slaves that work day and night to earn you more money. And every coin they bring in, that's like a child that can also go out and earn for you. This is the ancient Babylonian way of explaining the incredible power of compound interest.
So now that you've got your money working for you, you have to become its fierce protector. Arkad warns that as your treasure grows, you're going to be tempted by all sorts of schemes that sound amazing and promise to make you rich quick. The number one rule of investing is to protect your principal. Don't lose your money.
And to really hammer this point home, Arkad shares this painful story. He gave his entire first-year savings to a brickmaker who was going to travel and buy rare jewels. What happened? Well, the brickmaker got scammed and came back with a bag of worthless glass. The lesson is simple, but it's so profound. If you want advice about jewels, go to a jeweler. If you want advice on money, seek it from people who are actually good with money.
Okay, so we're saving, our money's growing, and it's protected. Now the wisdom of Babylon shifts its focus to the long game. The next cures are all about turning that pile of gold into real, long-term security for your future.
The fifth cure is all about owning your own home. The logic from Babylon is pretty straightforward. You take what is normally just an expense, your rent, and you turn it into an asset that gives you a stable foundation. Then, the sixth cure looks even further down the road. It tells us to create an income stream for the future, what we'd call retirement planning, to make sure our treasure can take care of us and our families when we can't work anymore.
And this timeline just lays out the whole strategy perfectly. You use your youth and your energy to build a treasure, not so you can spend it all right away, but so that treasure can turn around and support you in your old age. It's all about making your money work for you so you don't have to work forever. So we've covered saving, budgeting, investing, managing risk, and planning for the long term. But Arkad has one last critical piece of wisdom that really ties everything else together.
And this brings us to the seventh and final cure. And it's a reminder that all these financial systems are only half of the equation. The other half is you. You are your single greatest asset. Arkad teaches that you have to constantly invest in your own skills, your own knowledge, because the more you know, the more you are able to earn.
So there they are, the 7 cures that took Arkad from being a humble scribe to the richest man in Babylon. 1. Pay yourself first. 2. Live below your means. 3. Put your money to work. 4. Protect it from bad deals. 5. Own your own home. 6. Plan for your retirement. And 7. Never ever stop investing in yourself.
And that's really the key takeaway here. These aren't just some clever tips from 6,000 years ago. They are fundamental laws. It doesn't matter if you're dealing in shekels or stocks, copper coins or cryptocurrency, the basic principles of how humans act with money, they just don't change.
Ultimately, the wisdom of Babylon teaches us that wealth isn't something you find, it's something you build. It grows from small, consistent actions, repeated over a long time. Arkad's entire fortune grew from the seed of one single copper coin that he just decided to save. So the only question left is, what will your first seed be?